Hello and welcome back to the Get Sculpted podcast. We are very excited, as always, to bring you the latest topic, which is if you woke up with that dream sculpted body of yours, would you be able to keep it? I want you to sit with that question for a second. I want you to really visualize this, right? We're going to set the scene. You wake up tomorrow and you have everything you've wanted. You're lean, you have the flat stomach, you have the definition, you have that look that you have been chasing after for the past few months or maybe years. And I want you to really think about this. Would you be able to know how that version of you shows up? How does that version of you, what does she start her day thinking about? What does she start her day doing? When does she start her day? What time does she wake up? What's going through her mind when she's going to work, preparing her food in the morning? A stressful thing happens. What are all the micro decisions that happen that she is acting in a different way toward than you are right now? Because here's the thing, a lot of women think of your dream body as something that you achieve, something that you did. I heard this great quote and I'm going to paraphrase it. It was based on another subject other than fitness, but it's appropriate here. Fitness and achieving your dream body is not something you did. It's something you do.
That's great.
So in this context, we're thinking about hey, I need to become my dream self. I'm going to do that 6-week prep for that photo shoot. I'm going to do that 6-week challenge, but it's not about that. And here's the thing, it's the same reason that about 70% of lottery winners lose all that money that they acquired with just a few years. It's because when they get that money, they don't think like someone who is wealthy and has built wealth. They don't think like an investor. They don't have those skills. Their mind doesn't work that way. If you go from struggling with money, your lifestyle and your mindset are aligned in that way, right? You're in that loop. You don't know how to think beyond that. Overnight, you make $10 million. You're not someone who has made $10 million. You just got it. Same way with maintaining that lean body. So that's what we want to talk to you about today. We really want to reframe for you what that really takes, because we don't want that for our clients or you to just achieve it once. We want you to become someone who keeps it. And that's what this game is all about, baby.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it, Mare. Talk to us about the addiction that women have of just seeking that one goal, that one phase.
I actually love that lottery analogy so much because you are so right. And I think it's so applicable to women and their bodies, right? They might not realize it, but a lot of women get addicted to being in a fitness phase, right? It's a temporary high
fat
where
loss.
You go all in. Exactly. Typically it's fat loss, but you go all in for a period of time. And we see it everywhere. We see it all over social media. Join the 6-week challenge and join this and go into prep and get dialed in. And it's okay, but you're only doing that for a period of time where you're going to eat clean, train hard. And I get it because these phases feel good, especially if you've been struggling. It's you get excited to get started. The parameters are clear.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
And I think
no gray area.
Exactly. Right. It's start date, end date. These are the rules. If you do this, you're doing great. If you do this, you're not. So it's really easy because women can go all in. They can be focused. They see changes. They feel like they're making progress. But here's the problem. When you're doing something as a phase, there's a finish line.
Yeah.
And we know that there's no finish line when it comes to this journey. But also when you see a finish line, it means there's an escape hatch. You get to bail, right? You get to be done. And even more importantly, we've talked about this on past episodes. This is a big part of what we do at Get Sculpted. There's no identity change, right? So when you go into these phases, it's short-term compliance, identity and short-term compliance are two very different things, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know about you, Mare, but both you guys, I've worked with women, so many women who have been in shape before and they've done competitions. And this is
right.
I can't tell you how many people who've done competitions are in a phase of life where they're literally just wearing baggy sweatpants.
Yeah.
And that's their only outfit. And they don't recognize themselves in the mirror and they only feel good in their bodies when they compete. And we don't want that. We don't want that. And the reason being they're so good at following orders. I don't know if you guys have ever done calls with people. They're I will do what you tell me to do. And I'm
yes.
That's great. But I actually don't want you to do that all the time. I want you to think different. I don't want you to act different for 6 weeks.
That's
right? We want autonomy.
That's the thing. That's right. Because when you think about it, I mean, I know it's not always easy, but anybody can buckle down, right? You can buckle down if you know, okay, I just got to do this for 6 weeks. I just got to do this for 8 weeks. And you can kind of borrow that discipline, but you can't borrow identity. And this is the big thing, right? Those women can go through an entire phase, whether it's a prep for a comp or whatever, and then at the end be the exact same person on the inside. So
nothing's
that's
changed.
a mismatch.
Oh yeah. Then they're at a restaurant and then they're oh, I'm not in prep. Great. I'll take a nachos. I'll take a beer. I'll take a dessert.
Right.
And then they feel sick and they're well, okay, in 6 weeks time, I'm going to diet again.
Exactly. And that's the big
disconnect.
thing where it's identity. That's not what identity does. Identity is who you are, where there's no challenge, there's no countdown timer, there's no like prep coach keeping you accountable. It's who you are in every season and every circumstance. And that's why one of our sculpted standards is build a fit life that lasts. And it really like encapsulates this exactly. Fitness is not a phase. You're not doing it just to prep for a vacation or this or that. It's like you do it in every circumstance. There might be adjustments based on the season of life or what you're going through, but at the core of your identity, it's who you are, right? So we see this a lot. We really do. Women come to us, like you said, T, in that kind of cycle where they go extreme for a phase, they get results, they feel amazing, but then the phase ends, and what happens? The rebound.
Yeah.
And the rebound isn't just physical too, right? Like we have to think about what is the mental cost of this cycle where you're like all in and then like off the rails, right? So that's the thing. When structure disappears, so do all the behaviors, so do all the habits, right? And then what happens? The scale creeps back up. Motivation's gone. Within a few months, they're back where they started, or worse, deeper in the cycle, because you've now just perpetuated this over and over and over.
And there's so much shame around that cycle. Like
Right.
I speak to women all the time who are like, I've been dieting on and off for the better part of 30 years.
Or my whole life. I've heard that, like my whole life.
And it's like, I know what it feels like to lose the weight. And it's like, great. But what got you to lose the weight isn't what's going to help you keep it off. And who you are in the moments where you've lost the weight is not necessarily who you need to be to lose the weight for the last time and keep it off.
It's so true. It's so true. And that's why we have lots of women in their 40s, 50s, 60s. Okay. So like you said, their whole life, like we've had women use those exact words. I feel like I've been dieting my whole life. And it's because you've never once become the woman who keeps the results. Right. So this is kind of what this episode is like. Being addicted to a fitness phase is this. It's an identity escape, because when you chase these phases, it's actually easier than building an identity, because identity shifting and transforming is hard. Right. So phases let you be the same person. You just temporarily get to act like somebody else. But the identity, it's like that requires you to become someone new and transform from the inside out.
Yeah. And like
right?
The woman who actually keeps her results, like she's not going to be the one who negotiates her workouts. She's not going to be the one who binges after one off-plan meal. She's not going to emotionally spiral after, the scale fluctuates a little bit.
Or feel like I'm done. I just have to get to like June and then I'm done. Right.
There's no finish line. She doesn't go on plan, quote unquote, for a timeline to achieve a goal. She's living at a standard that ultimately is building into who she is in her life. And that's the shift. And I think all of us say this, like whenever we're talking, if you're seeing like reels that we make or posts that we create or on this podcast, we've always talked about how, within Get Sculpted, the women who come in, they're not coming in for a couple of months. Like we tell them, like your journey is probably years long, and this is why we have those three phases, right
at the beginning. Like whenever we have an initial conversation, that is something that we say, and it's not to scare you and it's not to tie you in. It's like, here's the reality. Do you want an identity change? Do you want to transform mind, body, everything, or do you want to do this for 6 months and then go back to who you were and then have to do it again and then again and again and again? Like that to me is insanity.
It literally is. Like you don't want to live by a meal plan for the rest of your life. You don't want to have a template or a biohack or like something that gets you back to to quote unquote baseline of like how you like to be in your body. Like you need to learn how to follow that meal plan initially, perhaps because it's giving you the baseline skills, but then you need to live life away from it so that you know how to navigate in any situation, so you're empowered. Right. That's what's going to help you stay in that body. What were you going to say, T?
Yeah, and I was going to say, I've had a lot of conversations, speaking of like the clients we work with, before we even get on a call or have a consult, I'll say like, look, are you in a place where you're ready to really like make a lifestyle transformation here? Like,
that's
are you in a place where you're just looking to take marching orders? Especially if I'm kind of getting that sense, because some women have the mentality of like, please tell me what to do. Just give me a challenge. Give me a 6-week thing. Give me a meal plan. The meal plan is not the problem. And let me tell you, like the diet, the meal plan, the one thing you follow, the calorie macros from MyFitnessPal, you lost a few pounds. If you do that and then you haven't actually adopted any changes in that process, that's exactly why you keep doing these things.
Yeah.
Because if they actually, when you say that's the only thing that worked, let's reframe that. It didn't work because you're still seeking the next thing.
Yeah, that's right. You're still seeking the original goal.
You still ain't in the kind of shape you want to be.
Right.
And where's the receipts?
Yeah.
And it's so fascinating to me because an old mentor once said to me that nobody buys identity shift. Everyone's just wanting to get, like, nobody buys mindset. That was kind of the thing that they kept saying to me. They're like, nobody wants that. Nobody wants to change who they are. They just want the immediate result. And in my mind, even back then, I was like, I'm sorry, that's BS. They don't know that that's what they want because they've never been shown the alternative. They've never seen anything in the industry that says, you can actually get here and stay here. And that's, I think, like the crux of why Get Sculpted, we're so passionate about Get Sculpted.
And what makes us different, because honestly, I could rant on this, but that's what intentionally keeps women stuck.
Yes.
Right. And that's the thing. If you're not making this identity shift, you are 1000%, you're just a cog in the wheel. You're stuck in the cycle and people are profiting off you. Let's be honest. So you stay stuck. You're in this cycle. There's no change. You're back and forth and back and forth. I mean, that's terrible. It's so awful.
And when something becomes your identity, it stops feeling extreme. Like, how some women will be like, you're so extreme for like tracking your food or for eating whole foods most of the time. And it's like, but that is my identity now. Like, that is who I am. I am consciously aware of what I put in my mouth, and I have a standard for the quality of food. Did I start there? No. Am I there now because I grew into it over a decade? Yes.
Jord, this reminds me of when you had your client and now coach who said to you, like, when she basically came to you and said, like, this is easy now. Like, I feel bad saying this, or like, she was kind of like, I don't know if I should be saying this, but this is easy. And I've actually had clients say that to me. Does this ever become easy? And I'll tell you, that's when it becomes easy. Yes. It's never like, it's just when it is who you are, you don't think twice about it. You don't begrudge your workouts. You don't see it as work and this like, thing I have to do. I get to do it. It makes me feel amazing. It's who I am. I'm surrounded by other women who hold this standard.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
The sooner we'll talk about exactly what that looks like soon too. But like I always tell myself, the sooner you adopt the habits and standards of people who have what you want and stop fighting them, the sooner you'll get your results. So if you're like,
exactly,
I see this all the time. Women hang out with people who are not with the same standard, which is fine. Yeah. You can hang out with whoever, but then they're influencing you. They're like, listen to your body and take like a full week off working out. Does that person have the results that you want? Like they're obviously operating from a different standard. Or the person, why do you track your food? That's so extreme. Well, obviously you're operating from a different standard, which is fine, but like you can't let that bleed into like what you think.
No, especially not if you're looking for that change that requires that, right? So
and like notice the theme here. The words that we keep using is like long term, big picture, forward thinking, like the decades to come. This is just who you are. Like that's the core differentiator to someone who maintains their dream body to someone who just gets to visit it once in a while and have to redo all the work to get there over and over. Like they've unlocked the habits and the behaviors and the beliefs that keep them where they want to be. And so like if you've been chasing phases your whole life and never actually became the woman who keeps the results, like that's why we are here in your corner. That's literally why we created Get Sculpted. And it's why so many women come to us. They've done the challenges, they've lost the weight before, but they always gain it back because they never changed who they were inside. And if you're ready to stop borrowing that discipline from like the 8-week build a booty challenge that you've done 6 times and really look at who you are, the 2.0 version of you that makes a difference, that makes maintenance feel natural and easy, like we would love to have a conversation with you. And you can apply at getsculpted.ca/contact. We don't just give you a meal plan. We meet you where you're at and we help you really become the woman who doesn't need to start over ever again. So fill that out. Let us help you get there together. And I know you're going to love hearing this when, T, I want you to talk about, how we think about the 1.0 version of yourself versus the 2.0 version, because that's really the crux of it here. Like, give us the lowdown.
Absolutely. As soon as I was thinking about this, I was like, okay, let me use myself as an example because I understand my psyche the deepest, right? So I'm going to take y'all back to my 1.0 mindset, right? Let's say like 10 years ago, like before I had my first son, I was very deep into partying. I was into my mid-20s and I look back at that time and I often think like, man, I consider myself a very ambitious person like by nature, but I totally was like living in my 1.0 then. So a few things I did. I always kind of did the minimum required. Like I, would show up and I showed up to my workout, but that's it.
Yeah.
if I'm lucky, or like, and I slept in, I woke up at a different time every day. I didn't really care. I focused on just like what I wanted in that moment. So if I had a bad, stressful day, it was eating, it was a lot of partying, and it was very much focused on current me and not future me. And my thoughts at that time were very much like, if I were to go back in my psyche on like a moment by moment basis, in the morning, it would be like definitely avoiding mirrors, wearing the same baggy sweatpants. And then I would kind of go through months of that and then be like, oh, I need to get back in shape. And that actually is why I did 2 shows back to back at that time. Cause I was like, my idea was like, okay, I'm going to do this extreme thing where it's been proven to get me like very lean in like 12 to 16 weeks, right? And then after that show, it was right back to like binge drinking, eating sporadically, sleeping in. There was no structure. The training went out the window because I saw that as like a punishment to get in that kind of shape.
Yeah.
And now taking it back to like my current self, it's I very much look forward to my training all the time because I'm adding to my life. I love it. I'm like, I love lifting heavy. I feel good. I fuel for that. Like I love eating, but I don't dictate my whole day around like, oh, I'm dreaming about my lunch and my dinner. It's just like, okay, I'm eating, I'm fueling, I enjoy it. I'm eating at this time, this time, this time. It's a well-oiled machine. I'm eating, training, sleeping, recovering, feeling good, focusing on that, like waking up at very similar times every day. Like it's just who I am. It's the lifestyle I live. There's absolutely no up and down. I actually did another 2 fitness competitions last year, and it was a different experience than the first time, but it made me realize like, like I'm good. My magic is in my, I'm good like all the time. Like I feel good. I feel good all the time. And I'm not saying this to even toot my horn, but I'm like, I could put on a bathing suit any day of the year. I could pack for a spontaneous trip. I like the mirror. I like my clothes. I have one set of clothes. It's not my fat and skinny clothes. Like that's good.
Yeah.
So do you guys want to share anything?
I would love to share some because there's so many elements I could relate to you on, but then there's a different perspective that I had living in my 1.0 because my 1.0 version, she was still achieving a ton. Like she was showing up #1 at work. She was showing #1 wife, #1 mom, #1 everything everywhere. But when it came to myself, there was not that structure or that self-care that elevated me in the, if you think of it like a pyramid, I was at the bottom of that pyramid. I got fed last.
I was going to say, if you even factored into the pyramid.
Exactly. And so it's like, I had things that I was, the baggy sweatpants and like the hiding in the clothes, like all of that was there. But I was successful everywhere except with my body, except with how I viewed my self-worth. And so it became very easy to like go on a diet, lose 20 pounds, and then go and binge literally the next day because I saw that as a reward, right? So like the psychology behind it, like the whys behind it became so ingrained. And that's the work that I needed to do. I was not immune or averse to hard work. Absolutely not. Like I was the hardest worker in the room for almost every area of my life, except that. That's where like I let it all fall, right? And so interesting like hearing yours and then hearing like reflecting about where I was, because it was like I just wasn't important enough to build the skills for myself. I would help everyone else build the skills, but like I didn't give myself permission to be important enough to take the time and the effort and the money to do so.
Yeah. And we're talking about, I think it's important too, like the life stages, right? Like this was in your early 30s.
In my early 30s, I was like, Scarlett was like a little like itty bitty, like a few years old. And that it's on, even before then, like she was maybe right after I delivered her, maybe it's within her first year of life. Right. And then when I had my moment of wake up call, like everybody around me was like, you're eating nothing, you're trying to lose weight. Yeah. But like, I had like a thing in the mall where I'd almost passed out from eating so little for so many days. And everyone's like, we're worried about you. And that's what kind of pushed me in the direction of like, okay, I have to figure this out for the last time.
I think that's a really good share, Jord, like just the difference. And Mara, I'd love could you share anything or do you have any insights?
It's funny. I have I feel like my 1.0 hit me 2 times. But my first 1.0, which would have been probably most of my teens into my 20s, like heading into my 30s, my 1.0, like I actually have always loved working out. I really have. I've always gotten that high, but specifically from resistance training. Like I've never been a cardio bunny, really. I mean, I did it to lose weight, but I'd never loved it. Jealous. But anyway, My 1.0 was all about, it was a phase. Like I went through phases where it was just like, how small can I get? How small can I get? I really spent my 1.0 wanting to shrink myself. So my 1.0 was very restrictive. There was no abundance. There was no growth mindset. It was like, what can I do to and I almost wore that as a badge of honor, not even externally, to myself. Okay. Where it was like, how little can I eat? How much workout can I do? And
how much can I suffer?
Right. And I relate to you as well in the sense of I showed up so differently. No one would have known. Like everybody was like, oh, you're so fit. You're so this. Yeah. No, I actually wasn't though. I wasn't eating. I was skinny. I was not like lean and toned. I was just skin and bones. I spent more years than I can count at 93 pounds. And I remember even my doctor being like most of the time, like we gain a little bit of weight every year. So that was my kind of first 1.0. My second 1.0.
That's when you're an adult? Sorry.
This was like in my like I was already teaching. So it was like at least 23 and higher.
Wow.
No way. Cause my 10, like Hunter's like 90 pounds. That's wild.
Yeah. No, I know that it was, but I was probably eating like I was like a freaking embryo. Cause I probably was eating maybe 800, 900 calories a day.
An embryo.
So my 1.0 was very much like, I did not value myself. I did not value my health. I was extrinsically motivated. I wanted validation. And then the other 1.0 version of me was the opposite, where I was just so burnt out, so stressed, so overwhelmed that I just didn't give a crap anymore. So I was avoiding the discomfort. I was negotiating with myself. I wasn't looking for relief in food, but I just didn't care. Like I just didn't care. I gained a ton of weight. I gained like 30, 40 pounds. Like it was, and in a very short period of time. So everything, I feel like I've been at both ends of this. I wasn't necessarily the partier, the drinker or anything like that, but my addiction, it's funny. Somebody recently said to me, talk to me about your addiction. And I was like, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. I'm like literally a square. I'm like, I'm boring. She's like, that's not true. She's like, you are addicted. You've had addiction, and it's addiction to skinny, addiction to like food control.
Yes.
So anyway, I could go on and on, but my 1.0 was reflecting back the unhealthiest, both mentally and physically, version of myself ever. Bad news, bear. Bad news.
Well, listen, I think this is an important discussion because uniquely when you're listening to this, I wanted to start this conversation like this because your 1.0 is unique. And this is the thing. 1.0, by the way, your 2.0 is always evolving. Everyone's like, I've reached my 2.0. No, remember, fitness is not something you did. It's something you do. So like now, this is my 1.0. I'm going to be my 2.0 next year. And you should be there too. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, one of my clients, because she loves this, like this 1.0, 2.0, but then she was like, all right, I'm like 2.3 now. And she like gets her numbers higher and she's like, my numbers are going to go all the way till they're going to go.
I've had another client be like, I'm in my 3.0 now. I'm continuing. I'm in my 4.0.
It's kind of like a new operating system. Right?
Yes,
it's like a new phone operating system. Anyway, sorry.
I love that analogy.
Well, you always gotta evolve, right? Like, and I'm such a believer. If you think you're green, you'll grow. If you think you're ripe, you'll rot. I heard that before, and I really like that. So, that's another tiny little rant is like if you think to yourself, I lost weight once and I built healthy habits and I don't need any more.
I'm good where I am.
I'm good where I am. No, we're never like, you want to achieve to be more, like always achieve to raise the bar. That's my motto is like, raise the bar higher here. 1% better is the goal. So anyway, your 2.0 self is always evolving. But here's the real deal. Cause we always want to leave you with kind of like the tangible kind of takeaway. Really, like when we're talking about that version of you that, let's just say you are in the scenario where you're pretty active, you have some healthy habits, but you don't look toned. You don't really look like someone who's sculpted. Take an honest reflection of like, that version of you has different habits and standards. She's tracking her food. She's not just, eating healthy. I'm doing quotations.
Yeah.
She's not just like joining a class or doing the Peloton app or just doing random workouts that, target that muscle. She's lifting with intention. We have a lot of podcasts about this, by the way, of exactly what that takes. And specifically, I'm talking about one we did recently that's like, you're not as advanced as you think. So
yeah, that's a good episode.
You need the right standards to reflect your goal. And that's another thing too, is like what I see with the women that we work with, that I work with in my, coaches specifically, is like, you're kind of adopting these standards that people have of just general healthy habits, but it's not going to take you to being the same standards as being sculpted. Like make choosing a chicken breast at dinner in itself over a burger is not going to get you toned. Like just using a strength training app, but not lifting with intensity, and with no feedback, it's not going to get you toned. Just showing up to the strength training is not going to get you toned. So that's the shift, the distinction I want to make there. Do you guys want to add anything?
Just one line that I said to a client recently, and she was like, that landed. I said to her, because we were talking about like, I've been so consistent for like the last month, I haven't seen the results yet. And I said, well, results lag the habits that we do consistently at the level that we need them to be at, right? And she was like, that makes so much sense, but it's so simple, but it's so hard to execute, right? You have to do the next level habit consistently enough, well enough at the new standard in which you're living for long enough in order to then realize that benefit. And I think not enough people understand the difference of where those healthy habits need to elevate, which ones need to elevate, and for how long they need to be elevated for in order for you to actually get there and then be able to stay there. Because it's like a forever thing. Like seven movement patterns in lifting, yet we're going to lift for our whole life.
Yeah.
So
but
like
this is the biggest thing.
There's
You're
nuance exactly. And there's nuance you're not yet prepared for. Because I heard this analogy too that was like, when you've been living in the basement, you can't visualize the penthouse. So like a lot of people think like, this is what I see a lot, right? You guys can tell me if you've seen this. Women who they just want to lose weight so bad. They just don't even want to look in the mirror. They want to wear their clothes. They feel like absolute crap. All they can think about is, I need to lose weight. I need to be this weight. I need this. My pants don't fit. If I wear these pants, I'm happy. And then when you've gotten there for a while, you start to think, I'm putting in a lot of effort at the gym. I feel like I really want to look toned. I want to like put on a bathing suit and be hot, actually. I want like a six pack, dare I say. I want to feel good. Like, I want to feel good naked. Like that's the next level. Then it's like, wait, I'm already doing this stuff, but like, I've never really like PR'd. I want to hit my squat at like 200. When you're in the phase where you're like, I'm desperate to lose weight, the last thing you're probably thinking of is like, I want to go.
It's not on your radar.
I want to squat 200 pounds. I don't care what I'm squatting. I want to fit in my size 6 pants.
It's like your analogy of like the basement and to the penthouse. Like if you went straight from the basement to the penthouse, the light would be blinding. Yeah. Right.
You're like, I don't want to be here.
You need to slowly level up to the penthouse so that you can adjust to the light and be
That's
like,
why
now I'm ready for it.
I love the word scaffolding, right? Like we have so many different episodes where we've kind of made these analogies, but that's just it. Like you can't run before you walk. You can't go to the penthouse before the basement. Like you have to put in the work. Like, let's just call it what it is. You've got to build this identity. You've got to build the skills, the habits. That doesn't happen by accident. You don't just like kind of like fall into that.
No,
it's built.
You don't just repeat what you're doing.
Built. Period.
And I just want to say this is a perfect time to interject. This is exactly what we help our clients with. We're not a just general healthy habits kind of people. We are a body recomposition system. Like that's what we coach our clients through. So for you to get your 2.0 and really stay there, you're not going to get there with 75 hard. You're not going to get there with someone random 6-week challenge and then the next person's 6-week challenge. You need a system. You need someone to guide you and lead you through change. This is what we do with our clients. We don't just give you the fish. We teach you how to fish. To just be like that lottery winner that just achieved that great result and then lose it all. We're going to help you become the type of person that becomes the self-made millionaire with your body. So if this is you, if this is resonating and you want to see what that path would look like for you, fill out an application now, getsculpted.ca/contact. We have that information in the show notes, because if you want to become that person, you can't just do that by what you're doing now. You need to think beyond where you're at, and this is what we can help with. So if you found this episode valuable, don't forget to share, tag us, and share it with a friend who you think that this is going to help. And we want to leave you with one final note. It's not about what you do, it's who you become in the process. Girls, I'm really excited for the next one. This one is going to be huge. It's going to be how to stay on track when your partner is sabotaging your progress or not on board. So we're excited to dive into this one. And thank you for joining us today.
Yeah. Talk to you next week.
See you next one.